There is a revival, and some of you guys, your name is in the cards. God has been trying to reach you spiritually, and you know it. You feel it. I want you to master your anointing after this. I want you to know exactly who you are. And men, you are the ones. It's not women, it's men. He's calling the head back to the church to have dominion, to have authority, to take your throne. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the stages that happen when you decide you want to take this walk with God. The first stage I want you to be aware of, that you know that something's happening with God. When you start talking to him a little bit, when you start spending time with him a little bit, first thing I want to warn you about is isolation. Isolation. Can I be honest with you, family? I went through a stage of isolation in the very beginning. And I'll be honest about how my journey even began. A friend of mine was like, let's, in the beginning of the year, let's make goals. Let's do this vision board, things like that. And if I'm being very honest with you, there's things like visualization and all the things that they tell you to do. And I was doing that. It opened up something within me. And I've learned over time, you open yourself up to the spiritual realm. Like when you start visualizing, you're opening yourself up. I was opening myself up. I started there was noticeable changes that were happening. I was experiencing things. I was seeing things. I opened it up. Okay. And so with that being said, I started really trying to seek somebody out that I knew. Her name, I'm not going to say her name. Y'all, I be telling too much of my business. I'm so open. Anyway, I called her up and I said, listen, there's something that's going on with me. I don't know what this is. Can you please rebuke it, bind it, do something? I don't know what this is. And she was basically telling me to fast and pray. Well, I didn't want to fast and pray. I didn't want to say no to the food. So anyway, I ended up fasting and praying. And what I found out with fasting and praying, God started to take me on a journey. He started to show me things and take me on a journey. And that encounter with him during that time has changed my life. I don't believe that you can have an encounter with God and live the same way. I don't believe that. I believe a true encounter with God transforms you. And it transformed me. It transformed my thoughts, transformed how I wanted to be represented, what I wanted to speak about. It all transformed. And so anyway, when I first got into it, the first thing that happened was that my conversation wasn't the same, right? So the people that I was talking to didn't understand me. Everything I was talking about wasn't this. I didn't have the same desires. My desires start to shift. They want to go out. They want to talk about this, that, and the third. I want to talk about the deeper spiritual things. I want to talk about sermons. I want to talk about different podcasts I was seeing, different other deeper spiritual things that we don't want to talk about in the shallow end. We want to talk about that in the deep end. And so I'll be honest with you, my conversation, I now felt like I couldn't talk to people that I was normally talking to because I felt annoying. I felt like what I have to say, where my head is at, y'all head is not there. Y'all I'm in the deep end, y'all in the shallow. I can't relate. And that's one of the first things that I'm going to let you guys know. The first step of being chosen is isolation. People do not, you try to relate. You can frame switch with the best of them. You can go, we can talk about, we can kiki kaka about whatever. But it's the deeper things that your mind naturally gravitates to. Normal people aren't talking about that. Normal people ain't thinking like you think. Your conversation, I remember going to different events with people that I love, and no disrespect to them, all I could think about was I want to get back, and I want to get back in my prayer closet and talk to God again. Like when I got so isolated with God. Like I remember picking my daughter up from school, and I would go back home, and all I want to do was sit with God. Like that's how, I mean, because I really didn't feel like anybody understood me outside of God, for real, for real. Like I didn't feel like we can engage in these conversations, and I can't give you shallow anymore. Like I can't. I'm trying to give you the best I can give you, but y'all talking about going to the lounge or the club. I'm talking about spirit. Like I'm talking, y'all listen, the other day I'm going to church and finding a church out here where I'm at. And I'm like, did y'all see there's a store like right next to y'all that's, and they were like, yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm like, okay, maybe look, and again, no disrespect to the people around me, because not everybody, everybody has a unique agitation. There might be something that bothers you that don't bother me, and vice versa, right? I understand that. But you will notice, as a chosen one, you do not feel like you're choosing to swim in shallow when you would rather swim in the deep. It's just hard to find other people that are also swimming in the deep. That's what you will know about the stages of anointing. There are things that your mind naturally gravitates to that normal people, or the people you around, although they're not your comparison, they ain't thinking like you. Their conversation ain't the same. All right. It naturally you isolate. Naturally you isolate because they don't think the way you think. That's part of it. And I think that sometimes when we're growing with God and we're getting closer to God and you start to hear God's voice, yeah. When you start hearing God's voice, or you start getting, you're getting in your bag, you're getting in alignment with God. Yeah, there's only a few people that swim in the deep. There's not a lot of people that swim in the deep, like family. I was watching this podcast right before I came on here, and it was Deep End with Taylor Welch, or We Need to Talk podcast. We're talking about deeper things. I'm intrigued by that stuff. I'm like, because family, when I decided to open myself up to the spiritual, I experienced the spiritual. The spiritual world is very, very real. It's real. Now you want to call it whatever you want to call it. You want to swim in the shallow end. I'm not your girl. But there is another realm. There is a spiritual realm. There is a heaven and there's a hell. There is demonic and there's angelic. It's real. There's people that have documented it. Millions of people. So at this point, if you don't want to believe it, you ain't got to believe it. But baby, one day you're going to believe it, because there's going to be a time, and hopefully it's not too late, where you will see it is very real. So again, when God starts calling us out of the shallow and into the deep, you have to be prepared for isolation, because the people that maybe once were your day ones, once you could hang out with and do what they're doing, you can't do it anymore. You're just not there anymore. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, y'all. Let's not just be every once in a while. Let's become family, okay? Friends that are family, okay? Join my family today.